Hello everyone. Wow, it's been a minute that I was here on my profile to do a Facebook Live, and I'm glad that I'm here tonight. And I just want to say, first of all, I love you. I miss you. It's not that I was not doing any lives. I was doing lives, but the lives were on a different platform, on a Facebook group. So it's been in my mind for a while to speak about what I'm going to talk about tonight, and I really went into my heart and meditated on it because at the end of the day, I just want you to know that anything that I'm going to say tonight is coming with the best intention and it's coming from my heart. So if for any reason at one point you're triggered or you don't agree, just know that this is not coming from me. My intention is really to love, send compassion, unity, and all of it. I just wanted to let you know that. And I mean, it's going to be a little bit longer tonight, and I wish that it could create a discussion with you, with your friends, or with me. I'm willing with that. And so I just took some note. I never really do that, but I wanted to talk about how to remove fear and also stand for unity. And so before we I tell you stories because there's three parts to it. I'm going to tell you some stories. I'm also going to go through a life story of one of my friends, mine as well. But before, let's talk about fear. What is fear and what does it do? Because I mean, I'm a mindset coach, and at the end of the day, what is preventing us to do anything that we want is normally fear. And fear is not good. Because when you're in fear, you're not productive, you're not curious, you can't come up with good ideas. But not only that, I mean, in your body, there's some chemical process that's happening, and then all of a sudden, you're not using this beautiful energy that you can use to repair, to restore, to do anything else. So can we agree that at least fear is not a good emotion to have? I mean, there's really two emotions. There's either fear or some spectrum of fear, and then you have love. I'm standing for love, 100%. And so what's very interesting about fear is that fear is also something that's imagined. Fear is imagined because there's something in the future that hasn't happened yet, but we're expecting something negative. But we can also expect something positive. If we expect something positive, then it becomes excitement. So that's why there's like a fine line between excitement and fear. And in your body, it feels a little bit the same because there's just a lot of energy, but the consequence is very different. So to talk about fear and talk about the expectation, I have to talk about the perception of what it creates. So here's a concept that I want to give you, and it's about, it's going to help you for sure. My goal is also that you get an impression of increase at the end of this live, that you learn something, you have a new insight, that it can help in your life, for your business, for your relationship, for whatever you want to choose. So here's a concept that I've learned that is so good, and it is that all events are neutral. So do you know what that means? Because it took me a while to understand that. All events are neutral means that essentially life is just happening. Life is happening, and then we are the one observing it, and then there's a perception that we have. And based on that perception, and then on top of it, there's a meaning, then it creates a whole different story. And it's really about, first of all, the type of information that we're getting, and then the perception that we have about that information and the meaning that we put to it. So all events are neutral. So if someone's, for example, you're driving, someone cuts you in traffic, and you're thinking, what, this person is just not respectful. But that's not true. I mean, this is just a car that happened to cut your way, but then we don't know what is happening with this person. Maybe this person actually is having a heart attack. Maybe this person didn't even look in the mirror. Maybe this person, there's so millions of possibilities that explains why this car happened to be in front of you and cut you. So you have a choice. That's the beauty about it. You have a choice of perceiving this event very different ways and with a different meaning. Here's another example. So let's say I'm asking you, I say, hey, what type of colors do you see right now? Right? And you're going to say, well, I mean, I see white and black. And I'm going to say, are you kidding me? This is not white and black. This is far from being black and white. This is this is black. But until I show you my perspective, until you show me your perspective, then we're going to argue on the same thing, the same event. And you're going to be right, and I'm going to be right, but we're just going to argue and lose all of our time and energy on disagreeing. Versus being curious and just say, hey, hold on a minute. You're talking about black and white, right? So why do you say that? I'm curious. Oh, well, because if you look at this way, then you see black and white. And oh, this is interesting. I'm seeing black. Oh, I get it. I get it. I hope you're understanding a little bit about what I'm talking right now, right? So I think it's very important that we see all events as neutral, and it removes the stress and the fear right away, because we know that we have the choice to grab any information, to put it in our head, and then that comes into our body as a vibration, and based on this vibration we're acting very differently. If you're in fear, I bet that your breathing is not going to be the same as someone that's very relaxed and all in love. If you had a bear in front of you, you can react this way, and all your body's going to be very, very productive for you to use all that you've got to escape, to flight, to freeze, to fight. But if you're just relaxed and you just take a little breath, just before you react, you respond, then all of a sudden your brain is just thinking, well, I guess this guy is not even stressed. He's just breathing slowly, so there's no threat. And all of a sudden you start to have some creative ideas. Does that make sense? So at the end of the day, you can have a bear, you can have a car, you can have someone that yells at you, you can have so many different things that are happening, and yet you have the choice to choose whatever angle, whatever perspective, to change the perception, to change your vibration, to change how you're going to respond. That's the beautiful thing. That's an amazing thing. And so I'm going to give you some example. This is just to show you how perception is so different. It was when I was in 1999, I was in Sweden to do an exchange program. In Sweden. That's very different. You're not talking about the same culture, completely different. And one of my courses was cross-cultural management. And then this teacher at one point said, you know what? Cultures is just a different thing. It's like everyone has their belief system. You have your belief system. They have their belief system. Who's right? Who's right? And then we're like, well, I don't know. Give me some examples. So he gave us an example of, apparently in Sweden, mothers with their kids in their stroller would go to the supermarket, and they would leave their baby in the stroller while they're shopping in the supermarket. Is that crazy? I remember thinking, what? Like this lady is leaving the baby in the stroller? That's nuts. You would not even think about doing that in America, because you'd be probably thrown in jail, right? It blew my mind. But then the teacher said, well, of course, why not? In Sweden, the children are a jewel of society. You would not even think about doing anything. The criminals are not even thinking about it, because, hey, we're talking about children here. You might be upset with me, I can do bad things to you, but we're talking about these children. These children are our next generations. We're not going to touch these guys. That's how they think. That's how they believe. And the beautiful thing is that when the mother is in the supermarket attending to her own affair, there are other mothers that are taking care of their babies. So it's kind of just, hey, I know you're busy. I'm just going to take care of yours. You do this, you do that. That's a supportive community. And I couldn't believe it. And for me, it was the first time that I felt, wow, who am I to judge and say that this is wrong? And, which angle am I taking it from? Because for them, it's absolutely normal. And there's nothing bad that's happening either. So I thought, man, maybe I can just open up my mind a little bit. Maybe I can open up my mind for religion. Maybe I can open up, as long as at the end of the day, we share the values of what? We share the value of love. We share the value of compassion. We share the value of equality. We share the value of compassion, of openness. I mean, if all of this is on the same plane, hey, I'm willing to change my point of view, you know? I'm willing to leave my kid. If I know other people are going to do that and I'm going to do that to them, I'm in. That's beautiful. So you see how perspective is so powerful. But if you're in fear, you're not even thinking about that. You don't even open up to the idea of being curious. It's impossible. You're like, hey, you know what? I'm going to think about that another day. I'm just going to focus on this. So guess what type of vibration the world has been put for a year and a half right now. And I have so much compassion for the ones that are living in fear. And it's not good. It feels like you want to throw up. You feel like you're stuck. This is not good. So then I was thinking, I want to talk about my dream, because I feel that we must, and that's our birthright, to be happy, to be healthy, to be loving, to help each other. Have we forgotten who we are? Our soul, the divine, we're all coming from the same source. The trees are growing up. Who's making these trees growing up? Is that your strength, my strength? That's something divine that we still have a hard time to explain, but there is something, a beautiful infinite intelligence that is growing these trees, that are putting oxygen in your body and my body, and we're so grateful for it. And I would say it's a loving energy, because it's growing. So here's my dream. And I was thinking about that. My dream is that we could have this world forum, that we can all listen to each other and ask, what angle are you looking at right now? Like, what's the information that you get? I mean, I might be wrong. You might be cool. I don't know. Like, let me know. Can we ask a lot of people about these subjects and not judge, and be sister brothers and say, interesting, didn't see it this way. And let's think about the consequence of making that decision. What's going to happen to the children? What's going to happen to the elders? What's going to happen to the businesses? What's going to happen? Like, whatever, right? Like, a general point of view, and decide together and say, based on all of it, I think we should just go in that direction. Are we agree? And of course, there's going to be different, but we're thinking and we're opening our mind, and we can just say, well, you know what? At the end of the day, you have your own truth. I have mine, and you decide. You decide, or we decide as a society together. As a society together, we can decide to be united. We can decide to be compassionate. We can decide to help each other. We can decide to be open. We can decide to do so many beautiful things instead of pointing fingers, judging, and everything. That's my dream. And I think it's possible, because I think, and I'm going to read you this, and yeah, I'm going to read you that now, because I think it's, it's something that I read, and I think it's going to resonate. Maybe not, but I was looking at what Benjamin Franklin was saying, and that's in 1706. 1706. So a couple of different quotes. Maybe some will resonate, maybe some not, and then I'll read you something that's absolutely beautiful from what's his name? Oh man, I'm just gonna come back. But Benjamin Franklin, he said, "It is the first responsibility of every citizen to question authority." It is the first responsibility of every citizen to question authority. And questioning is not being in war. Questioning is just saying, hey, what angle are you taking here? Why are you coming up with this? How many people are saying that? Is that one person? Or do we have 100 people that are talking about the same subject? I mean, I'm just going to talk about statistic and math that I've learned at school. But one thing I know is that the normal bell curve, in order to have something that looks like an average, you need at least 30 sample. 30 sample. So it's not just one person talking for one subject. Like, we're just talking at the minimum. And when they have surveys, how many people do they pick? 1,000 or 2,000? So can we have a world forum on different subject, whatever the subject is, and just say what's good for us? I mean, hey, the foundation of everything is love, compassion, helping each other, fun, all of this, thriving, being healthy. What's the best thing, right? And so that's one of the quote. The other one was, security without liberty is called prison. Security without liberty is called prison. Here's another one. Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. I mean, that's just, it's not me saying it, that's Benjamin Franklin. And so, and again, you can look at it and say, you know what? I mean, give up liberty. So again, that's just the discussion. From what angle are you taking? I believe in freedom. I think that we absolutely, that's our birthright. We're born free, and we should always be free. And so here's another one. I'm just trying to say, yeah, I think so far that's pretty good, right? And so here's another thing that I was thinking about, because I'm thinking about this guy, Dr. King. Right? He said such a beautiful, I didn't even read the whole thing before, but there are so many beautiful things that he said. I know I said it probably 5 times, but he said we must forever conduct our struggle on the high plane of dignity and discipline. We must not allow our creative protest to degenerate into physical violence. Again and again, we must rise to the majestic heights of meeting physical force with soul force. The marvelous new militancy which has engulfed the Negro community must not lead us to a distrust of all white people, for many of our white brothers, as evidenced by their presence here today, have come to realize that their destiny is tied up with our destiny. We're all united. That's what it was saying. Imagine this. Here's another one. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, every hill. Just going to do that. Every hill, mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is the faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the new mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the juggling discord of our nation into a beautiful, beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. And the last one, and that's the most famous one. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged. They will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. How powerful is that? So, to me, that's very important. I know it's been a while already. Didn't believe that it would be that long, but that's okay. It's coming from my heart, and again, my hope in all of this is that we have a compassionate heart, that we're curious. We're curious about the angles that we're taking, instead of judging and say, hey, I'm better than you, you're wrong. Hey, who do we know? Like, as technology evolved over the years, did you know that Marconi was said to be stupid and also crazy because he was talking about, hey, I have a little technology. You know what? It's going to be like voices that are traveling, and then you're going to be in a different place and you're going to hear that voice. So it was radio. Radio was not available at that time. So who are we to judge this guy that was genius and I was able to talk about something new? Is that possible that we don't have all the information yet? Is that possible that there's millions of possibilities? And how about we stand united for what matters the most? Love. So how can we meet in love? And I'm going to leave you with this. I have a friend. I'm going to try not to be too emotional. On my birthday, this guy departed. He passed away. And I was a really, really good friend. I told the story in my group before, but his name is Neil. And he had cancer for 2 years, and so he fought like a warrior, like crazy. And I have so much respect for him. And so I had the chance to, 2 weeks before he died, have a conversation with him. And it was a man-to-man type of conversation, very authentic, very pono. And so we were talking about life, because I knew that he would choose to leave, because he had like chemo and all of that crap for years. It was not fun. And so I said, Neil, what would be your legacy? You know, if you had something to say, what would you say is important? And here's what he said. He said, you know, everybody's going to die. We know this. And I think that for me, I'd say live a life, an authentic life, true to yourself, and don't let anything or anyone sway you from your own path. You have your own truth. You do that. And then he said, I would wake up every day and I would ask myself, how can I live a life of vibrancy? How can I live a life of abundance? And I said, well, how do you define abundance? He said, well, the beauty of life is that you find out. The beauty of life is your own truth, your own authentic self. That's you. That's not me. You choose it. And it was the most beautiful gift that he gave me, and that I hope he gives you, to remember that, you know, your own truth is inside you, not inside of anyone but you. You're the one perceiving, you're the one putting meaning, and I just hope that we can just be all together to find the meaning of life and help each other and not judge each other. And I'll leave you with going back to, I said I'm going to leave you with, but removing fear. So I have a friend that, you know, started to work for a new company, and his boss was really, really difficult on him. And, you know, lots of pressure. Do we have a lot of pressure these days? And it was about different point of views, of course, of, you know, you should go in that direction. No, I think we should go in this direction. And it was a pretty fairly new job for him. And he told me, if it was me 10 years ago, I would have basically, even if I would have been upset, I would have just decided to go and do what he says, because I would have been in fear, and I would have been in fear of the consequence, essentially not being authentic to himself. And so that's what he decided to do. He said, you know what, for the sake of the company and for the good of the company, I believe that we should do this launch of the product this way, and I'm gonna do it. And if you don't like it, you can fire me. I'm gonna take all the risk for you. I'm gonna do it. I'm fearless. He didn't say I'm fearless, but he said, you know what, if it doesn't work out, I'm in charge of the product. I'm in charge. I'm going to do it. If it doesn't work, fire me. So guess what type of power his boss has over him now? Zero. Zero. Because he's in his own truth. It doesn't matter. The boss can say anything. He's just going to say, well, it doesn't matter to me. So now he's living free. He's living free, and that's for your relationship. That's for the job, that's for everything in your life. When you have a good intention, the intention for him was, this is for the good and the sake of the company. And so I believe that this is the best way to do. And he was not in fear, didn't have any bad dreams at night, because he just decided to do, like my friend Neil said, to be authentic with himself and with a lot of respect. And you know what? Right now, his boss is pretty happy with what he's done. So it was a long message, and I thank you for listening until the end. It took me a while to think about what angle, how to say it, come up with my best, and really trying not to judge of anything, but just coming with my heart. So if you like that, well, maybe share it to some of your friends. If you think that it's gonna, and I'm not saying that for me, you know, sometimes we just need another method to start the discussion, or just take whatever it is from that and take a new action. Maybe look at before reacting, maybe responding, and not necessarily just be mad and upset about something that happens in your life, but just say, why am I thinking this? Why am I reacting this way? That's probably a thought. That's a thought that I had. I chose to perceive this way, and I had this meaning. Is there a possibility that I can have another thought and another perception? That's a good start, right? So on that note, I hope that it helps you to remove fear. And also, I stand for the unity of all of us, and I hope you will too. And I love you so much, and thank you for listening. Have an amazing, beautiful week, guys.